Hey everyone, this is the Perfect 10 Shawn Spears, and you're listening to Vibe 105.
This is Vibe Talks, exclusively on Vibe 105.
Hey everybody, this is Giancarlo Aulino reporting for Vibe 105 with a Vibe Talks segment, and I'm happy to be joined by my guest today who's going to be talking about this exciting summer in All Elite Wrestling. He is the Perfect 10. He is a good Canadian here. He is Shawn Spears. How you doing, Shawn?
I'm good, man. You keep calling me a good Canadian. Definitely Canadian. Definitely Canadian. We'll see about the good part, though. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, and this is an exciting summer because AEW, you're one of the OGs of AEW. You've been there since the start there, and now I'm sure fans have always wanted to say, okay, AEW, hopefully we can go to that one Canadian show, but this summer, it's all jam-packed. They're going from city to city, so as a Canadian performer on the roster, how does that make you feel that they're really going to be tapping into this Canadian market?
Well, this has been in the works for a long time. So to, like you said, be there from the very beginning and now get a chance to not only go to Canada, so we were in Canada last year in October, but to actually do an official tour of Canada. Now we kind of get to hopefully spoil the Canadian wrestling fans the way we want to. So we're not just going to one city, we're going to multiple cities. So there's multiple chances to come out and see us. For me, selfishly, as a Canadian, it's the greatest thing in the world. Dorothy said it best, there's no place like home. And I believe every word of that. There is no place like home for me, especially coming back to Toronto. Not take away from Calgary or Regina or Edmonton, any of those other places, but I'm from that area. I'm from the Ontario area. So to come home and do a couple shows with, Collision on June 24th, right into the Forbidden Door, June 25th. And then 3 days later, we're in Hamilton for the 28th, 29th for another Dynamite and Collision. So to stack those shows back to back, which I believe is a total of 1 hour away from where I grew up. I mean, that's not only is that massive to me as a wrestling fan, but as a professional wrestler, after 21 years, it gets me horrifically, if that's even the way to put it, excited to do this. So it's awesome, man. Wrestling is the best.
And you touched on it there that the last time AEW was here, I was at Rampage and I got to see just the return that you had. It was on the heels of that phenomenal Perfect 10 return. And we saw you really come back into the area. Did you really not take it for granted early on in your career, but was this a more of a full circle thing where you got to really step back and really take in the moment?
Not necessarily. When I said what I said to the audience in regards to my mother and stuff, that was more of a taking in the moment. I've been very fortunate to have some pretty cool moments throughout my career happen in Toronto. I've had some great matches in Toronto. I've been well received in Canada, which, makes my heart explode. Every time I get to come home, I don't take for granted that it could be the last time. I've been doing this for over 21 years. I am winding down to a certain degree. So I don't know if this is the last time that I'll be performing in Toronto. It very well could be. I don't know. So every time I come home, it's extra special because it could be the last time. When I spoke to the audience, like you said, after Rampage that night, alongside with two of my best buddies, FTR, The Business, that was me just explaining my absence, explaining why. I think sometimes life can catch up with us. And if we're not paying attention or we're not, if we don't have our head on a swivel, it can catch up with us real quick and almost blindside us. And that's what that was. So me stepping away for that extended period of time and then being able to come back as not just, me, but as the Perfect 10, which quite frankly was one of my favorite times in the industry in Canada on that night. I just felt I owed it to them to give them an explanation and just the understanding and the comfort that I felt as I assume that, does not take away from anybody else, but it felt like the right place to do it. And I believe that's because I was surrounded by thousands of Canadians. So a special moment for sure. I don't take it for granted because I don't know when this is all going to wrap up.
You mentioned that, you've been around the business for a long time. You've been wrestling a long time. So how was it when you were breaking into it as a Canadian? Like, what was the Canadian wrestling scene like at the time? And like, how long did it take for you to like really be comfortable enough where you felt good at going in front of a crowd and maybe cutting promos? Like, when did you feel that?
The Ontario, like Canada's produced really, really good wrestlers. There's still a lot of really good wrestlers. I don't know too much about East and West in terms of independent talent, but I still do select independent wrestling shows because whether it be in front of, 50 people, 500 people, or 50,000 people, it's performing. It's all the same for me. I love all of it. So I still do select shows and I still see a lot of this young independent talent, especially in the Ontario area. We're still producing very, very good talent. And that's how it was when I broke in. We had a lot of really, really good talent. I was trained by Eric Young, who was one of the top independent talents at the time. The guy's still in the world of professional wrestling, so clearly he did something right. But for me, it was just about working. It was just about busting my ass and keeping my eye on the prize. And my eye at the prize was to work for the biggest company in the world at the time. That was the goal. The goal was to get paid to do this for a living. Money wasn't so much the objective as it was being a professional wrestler. So I wanted to be the best version of that I could be. In terms of being comfortable, I feel like I get comfortable in certain stages. I still get nervous, which tells me that I'm not completely done with the industry yet. But that's the feeling when my heart starts pounding and I can feel it in my neck and my legs get really heavy and I feel like I have to. That makes me feel alive. Those are just nerves and nothing more. And I kind of thrive off of that. That kind of helps me get into the headspace that I need to be before I go out in front of a crowd. So I'm very comfortable being out there in front of a crowd because Ronnie Arneal is a pretty quiet guy. He likes to hang out at home with his dogs and his wife and his kid and his video games and doing whatever else he likes to do. But Shawn Spears loves to go out in front of an audience and goof off and be loud, be obnoxious, or flash his hands around. It's a character that I get to portray. So however it's received, good or bad, it's a ton of fun.
And you mentioned it's a ton of fun. And the perfect 10, when your music hits and you come out there, everybody's doing the same thing, the 10s. Like, how did that all come about for you? And did you really think it was going to catch on the way it did, where like when you come out, you're one of the most popular guys when that entrance hits and everybody's into the entrance?
Well, it just, it's the hardest thing to come up with as a talent. I liken it to your favorite song. You can hear a good song, but then when the chorus kicks in or the hook, that's when you go, oh my God, then you get hooked on that song and you find yourself singing it for 2 days in a row or listening to it for 2 days in a row. The idea remains the same in wrestling as a character. If you can find that hook, and what that hook is I don't believe the days of gimmicks still exist. Perfect 10 is not a gimmick. The chairman is not a gimmick. Those are layers to Shawn Spears' personality. That's it. They're just different layers to one Shawn Spears. So if you can find that hook, which is this, that gives everybody around you or that paid good money to come watch an AEW show, if you can give them a reason to connect, you're onto something. You're the catalyst for them. So I love coming out and I love seeing whether it's a 4-year-old or a 40-year-old throw their hands up. It just tells me that they're having a good time. It has nothing to do with me. I'm just going to have a good time with you. That's it. You guys do what you want and I'll go along for the ride. Because this is what we're here for. We're all here to have a good time. And that's what an AEW show does. It ensures that everybody has a damn good time.
You mentioned the chairman too, and got to bring up that debut because it was memorable. The chair shot heard around the pro wrestling world there. What if you can just describe to our listeners, what were you feeling that night and just that moment when you hit Cody with the chair, you go back and then you see all the feedback online, like, when did it really set in for you? Like, okay, this is a big moment in your career.
The first thing I thought when I hit him was bullseye. That's the first thing I thought. And number two, in terms of like the backstage, I don't pay attention to a lot of stuff online, especially not like since I've had my son. I just don't have the time. Back then, I knew there was a lot of buzz and a lot of controversy. All that stuff is above my pay grade. I don't care. My job is to go out and perform. I had a goal in mind and I accomplished it. That is just that. You guys are going to say, and I mean you guys in a totality way, you guys are going to say what you're going to say. You're going to do what you want to do. You're going to watch what you want to watch. My job is to go out and perform and let the chips fall where they may, and then get ready to go out and do it again the next week. So it was a big moment. The chairman is not gone. I will say that. The chairman is just hibernating, we'll say, for a season. He will be back. You will see him again. So I'll be swinging chairs again very, very soon. I might even swing at this Canadian tour. Who knows? Maybe I'll swing it on the Canadian tour. Might be in Toronto on the 24th. Might be in Hamilton on the 28th or 29th. Maybe in Calgary. Maybe I'll swing it in Calgary. Who knows?
I like it. It's a nice little teaser there. So on Saturday, maybe if you're in Toronto and you're at Scotiabank Arena, maybe you'll see a chair being swung, or maybe, like you said, it's one of the other dates. But another group there in AEW that you're a part of was the Pinnacle, an MJF now, world champion. Like, you were seeing his growth from, coming into AEW, getting that national exposure, and now you see him develop into this world champion. What have you seen out of MJF, the person backstage, and what have you seen out of MJF, the performer?
He's exactly that. He's a performer. He understands this industry. He grasps onto things a lot faster than most. And he has been in the ring or been under the wing of a lot of our industry's top talent. I believe it was Cody that brought him in. Cody Rhodes brought him into AEW way back when. So you're under the wing of arguably the biggest star on the planet today. And then you go from there to Chris Jericho. And then you're in these blood feuds with guys like CM Punk, and you're going an hour with Bryan Danielson. Like, you are getting a top-notch, first-class crash course in how to be a megastar. And he has received it well. He's understood it well. He continues to try to improve week to week. And I know Max very well, both in front of the scenes and behind the scenes. I'm pretty confident in saying that even though he's the world champion, it's not enough. He won't rely on just being the world. He's going to aim higher. He's going to go bigger. That's just how he's molded. That's how he operates. And, I dare say I wish a lot of people across the board, talent-wise, would work that hard.
Well said there. And just a couple final questions here. We're going to do a quick rapid fire with you. You're back in Canada. Give you some good Canadian questions here. I guess once you go into Toronto, a lot of talent, I'm sure they're going to go visit Tim Hortons. So when you go there, what's the Tim Hortons order?
It's a Boston cream donut. If they have the chocolate glaze too, it's two. Boston cream, chocolate glaze.
Poutine or ketchup chips?
I haven't had a poutine in a long time. I go ketchup chips first.
This is an interesting one because the origins of this, it's in Canada, but it's a controversial topic. First, are you a pizza person?
Yep, I have to be. My wife is.
Okay, are you putting pineapple on the pizza?
She does. I don't. I'm not opposed to it, though. To each their own. If there's a slice there and I'm hungry and it's got pineapple on it, it's going down. That's it. End of story.
As a Canadian, are you, and an Ontarian, are you a Leaf fan?
No, I'm not a Leaf fan. I'm sorry if that pisses you guys a lot. But I am a Vancouver Canucks fan, which might be worse, depending on the year they just had. Only because my father is a massive Maple Leafs fan. So growing up, he kind of, you're a Leafs fan, you're a Leafs fan, you're a Leafs fan. I just went, I'm not a Leafs fan now. Like, it just, so I navigated out west a little bit to the Vancouver Canucks. But I was really happy when they got into the playoffs. I was a little disappointed, as I'm sure most were, with how they went. But hopefully next year. Next year's a new year.
Seems to be the theme for Leaf fans next year. But who is your favorite hockey player on that topic?
Pavel Bure, the Russian Rocket.
Legend.
Oddly enough, number 10. Number 10 growing up, and then number 96 for a little while, but number 10.
And final question here. What was the best piece of advice that you got in your career?
Best piece of advice. ever got in my career. Oh, there's been nice little tidbits along the way. As simple as it sounds, man, don't quit. Don't quit. Most people quit without realizing that they were this close to being like found or breaking through. So don't quit. Never know.
And before we wrap up here, Shawn, and let you go, how can our listeners and viewers here at Vibe 105 stay up to date with everything you're doing in AEW and follow you on social media?
Social media, on Instagram, it's the Shawn Spears, and on Twitter, it is just Shawn Spears. In terms of where you guys can keep up, AEWTix.com. Come out to the Canadian shows. We're in your backyard. We are here, and we're bringing all our Canadians and all our top stars with us, including me. So AEWTix.com. Come on out, June 24th, June 25th is sold out. Sorry. But we have the Hamilton shows coming up a week right after that. We're doing Dynamites. We're doing everything across the board. You're going to get fireworks. You're going to get the best professional wrestling on the planet. We guarantee it. That's why we're coming there. So come on out. Come say hello. Come throw your hands up. Show some love for a Canadian. I'll see you guys there.
Highly recommend that follow, and highly recommend this AEW tour here for all the Canadians listening to this. And Shawn, I really appreciate you sharing your time and coming on here on Vibe 105 to talk all about this in AEW. Exciting time there, and I wish you all the best.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Take care.
Vibe Talks, exclusively on Vibe 105.